Hello, everyone. It's great to be back today. I've got a special guest for all of you. Welcome to everybody that's watching this. Right now, Give, Send, Go is in 40 countries. So we see campaign owners and givers from all over the world. So it's a fascinating and fun thing to be a part of in the global family of Give, Send, Go. Today, I have Scott Hollis on. I'm going to give him a moment to tell us a little bit about himself, but for everybody that's tuning in, take a moment to share this link. Let people know about Give, Send, Go Spotlight TV, that we take a moment to use this platform to not just give people a place to fundraise online, but also to help share those fundraising campaigns to an even greater community, something that our platform does that no other platform does right now. So we're excited about it. We're excited to launch this initiative. It's relatively new, and we're excited to have guests like Scott on. So, hey, Scott, how are you doing today?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing really well. Great to be here.
Well, fantastic. It is a couple hours earlier. It's 2 o'clock over here, but you're on the West Coast, if I'm correct. So was it 11 o'clock over there? It's still morning time?
Yeah. A little after 11, yeah.
Perfect, yeah. So, you're on Give, Send, Go Spotlight TV because you've got a campaign going on Give, Send, Go. It's something that an initiative that you're going, something that you've done. But why don't you begin just by telling people a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive into what your campaign is and everything about that.
Sounds great. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. We started out about 16, 17 years ago, where we created a powerlifting team out of Northwest Christian High School. And it was something that, like, most people just didn't expect. Powerlifting is usually something you'll see in the Midwest, usually associated with like the big football teams and stuff like that. And so there was a gentleman whose shoulders of greatness I get to stand upon by the name of Scott Van Zandt. And he started this up, and about 7 years ago, I took it over. And what we've done is be able to grow the team to where it included not just those students who were at Northwest Christian High School, but also homeschoolers, kids from other Christian schools, and even schools that, maybe they didn't have a powerlifting team, or due to COVID, especially recently, kiddos who just didn't have someplace else to come and be a part of something and be normal. Hang out with other kiddos, work out, and just kind of improve their physical situation. And so what we've done is through the Amateur Athletic Union, we've allowed these kiddos to compete not only at the local level, but also to go down and compete at places like Las Vegas and California and stuff like that, so they can show off feats of strength. But what we tend to try to do also is just share Jesus, not only with these kiddos, but also with the groups that we go and compete with. Everybody knows that we're the group that, we're going to come in, we're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance, we're going to pray at the beginning of the event, we're going to help all the other folks who are out there lifting, and they know that if they come along, our team, that they're going to be supported, they're going to be edified, and they're going to be lifted up, not only physically, but also spiritually and also emotionally as well, because our kiddos tend to be pretty happy.
That's incredible. I think that's absolutely awesome. So obviously you said that you are standing on the shoulders of somebody else, but do you have a background in powerlifting? Was this just an opportunity that you saw to jump in and carry something that was already moving and had some momentum, and you just felt a call to do it? Or was it something that you are familiar with already?
So I had done some powerlifting when I was in high school, and a friend of mine had asked me to come alongside of him and say, hey, can you just help me with the coaching? And the next thing I know, I'm named as the head coach. Not sure how that happened. And it's one of those that the club has just continued to grow, and it's just is seeing success after success. But, we definitely try to put Christ first in all that we do. And so a lot of the kiddos, and one of the pieces with being like I own my own business. I own a real estate business. And so it's one of those that one of the things I've been able to do as a part of my giving back is volunteer with these kiddos. And then where we have kids who, mom and dad's been laid off, dad's lost his business, maybe their income levels just aren't where they should be. My business can come alongside and scholarship them so that they can do these competitions, or like this moment where we're able to use Give, Send, Go have our community reach in with $5, $10 and just kind of help out to support these kiddos so that it's not a financial burden on them, on their families, especially at a time where everything's just really tight financially for everyone.
Okay, sure. Well, great transition into the campaign. So you've got a campaign on Give, Send, Go. That's one of the reasons, that's why you're here talking about it right today. The campaign, for those of you that are watching, the URL, which is the website address for that specific campaign page, is givesendgo.com/G26SS. Givesendgo.com G26SS. So you can read a little bit about what Scott Hollis is doing there with the powerlifting team, Northwest Christian powerlifting team, and what the amount of funds that they're raised and the goals that they're setting. So I'm curious, this is fascinating to me. How did you find out about Give, Send, Go when you were looking for a vehicle to do fundraising? What was it that brought you to Give, Send, Go?
All right. So I'm an adoptive dad, and we are pretty active in the foster and adoption community here in the Puget Sound. And so it was one of those that a friend of ours had started a Give, Send, Go campaign to help fundraise for their adoption, and identified, hey, this Christian organization, hey, it's, not supporting things that we don't believe in or that we don't think are ethical. It's not giving campaign contributions any wacko, that kind of a deal, and not getting involved in some of the myriad of things that maybe we just don't agree with. And so we looked at it, and as a team, I highlighted that maybe this is a way for us to kind of build that alternative economy, work with other Christians, continue to build up our Christian family, so to speak, support one another. And so that was the whole reason for going with it. They had a lot of success on their campaign to raise funds for their adoption. They were doing an international adoption. And so it's one of those that we're like, hey, this makes sense. Let's try this and see how it goes. And right now we're just a little over halfway through the funds that we need. So, we're just blessed. I mean, it's just amazing to me how easy it's been, and being able to share that link. And it's just been a great platform to work with. So we're really grateful that you guys were able to create this, and it's something that we've been able to share.
That's incredible. I love that. It's really unique listening to people in the way that they hear about Give, Send, Go, and oftentimes it is through a friend or family that's used Give, Send, Go before. One of the cool things that we've done recently was about 6 months ago. We started a prayer team, and that prayer team's job is to call every campaign owner and pray with it. I'm curious if you've gotten a phone call yet from a member of our prayer team, if they've left you a message yet.
Honestly, yeah, they reached out to me, and it was one of those that it was kind of shocking. It was one of those like, wait, you're doing what? You want to what with me? And so it was just a huge blessing. It was one of those things. It was like, I totally didn't expect it. Came out of the blue, and yeah, it just I don't know, kind of a weird sense of peace, if you will, about the whole situation. It's like, I just love the idea that there's that level of involvement, engagement, and investment, so to speak, not, that goes both ways.
Yeah. It's been, just to give some testimony back to you, because it goes both ways. We see the testimonies of people that have been blown away by getting a phone call from a tech startup type of company alternative, and having them reach into their world and their situation and actually give them a phone call, especially in light of COVID and everyone being isolated. So many people have been pushed into isolation and really feeling separated. And we sat there and said, what can we do? Really prayed about, God, what do you want us to do to try to up the level of engagement that we have? And really, it was, man, we need to take this to another level. People are desperate for connection. And the testimonies back to our own team has just been incredible. Some of the moments where we've intercepted people in the struggle, because there are campaigns like yours that are uplifting. They're happy. You've got a great cause. You're building a community. You're doing something good, physical. And then there are campaigns that are very disastrous. If somebody's just gone through a fire or medical bills, where there's a lot of sorrow and hurt around. And we've seen that prayer team actually make phone calls, just in the schedule of phone calls that we have, that's constantly there. And impact right at the right moment. And those people have just been floored because they've been sitting and struggling with the stress and the overwhelmingness of their situation. And to hear somebody that's willing to come alongside them and say, hey, listen, I want to shoulder some of this burden with you in prayer and continue to lift it up has been absolutely tremendous. We get that report, but we've also had even recently people say, and now let me pray for you back on the phone. So they're praying for us as well. And we need it because as you probably are aware, when you begin to stand on principle in the world that we live in today, you put a big target on your back. And
Yes.
and so you get a lot of, especially a company like that, like ours, that is in the limelight a lot because of a lot of the big type of polarization around political campaigns and various things. People are out to get you if you're not doing what the woke crowd tells you ought to do. And so we've come under a lot of attack, but those prayers, people are reciprocating, and it's really an amazing thing to see how God's used a step of faith on our side to bless people, to actually bring a blessing back to us, which is really how He does it. But so this campaign, AAU 2021 World Powerlifting in Las Vegas, is this something that is in front of you that you're going to be going to soon, that you have a competitive meet that you're looking to raise funds for? Is that what it is?
Yes. In fact, we literally just got back, and so we're like trying to follow up on all of the the myriad of bills that we still got to pay off as a part of this process, and finish paying for the flights and the hotels and everything else. But yeah, just to kind of show off how well the team did, this is let me see if I can get that lined up just right.
Yeah. Okay.
So they they gave it all, and they came back with second place in feats of strength. And for a bunch of high schoolers to sit there and go down and compete with people from all ages, they just went head to head, and they pulled out just an amazing outcome in all of this. And so like tomorrow, these kiddos, they've got another competition up in Alki Beach in West Seattle, and then I'm going to be getting them ready for another one for February. And so it never stops, but this was one of those where all the kids have been stuck in lockdown, fully masked and everything else. And we wanted to like, hey, let's just get out of the state. Let's go take you down here. Let's see what we can do. And, yeah, okay, it's Vegas, but at the same time, there were opportunities that came along the way. You talk about the prayer team. One of the folks that we reached out to that was became one of our small sponsors is probably going to be one of my favorite for a long time. And he shared with me that, he was a gun shop, and it was one of those, he's like, are you sure you want to be, you want my name associated with your group, you're Christians, that and the other. And I'm like, look, it's thankfully as Christians, it's not our job to judge. It's just our job to share, right? It's our job to like share, whether it's good times, bad times, all of it. That's what part of fellowship is in my mind. And so out of all of it, the guy ends up sharing with me that his father is sick. He's been driving back and forth from here down to Portland, and was able to stop and pray with him, was able to sit and continue to follow up with him. And so it's been one of those that this campaign continues to produce dividends that I didn't expect. I just didn't expect, in terms of the opportunities to just share, the love of Christ with as many people as possible, and just be able to stop and pray with them and give them a little bit different impression of what they think Christians are.
Yeah.
Because, who would have thought that there would be a whole like Christian powerlifting team, that's focused on, our motto is lift like Samson and live like Jesus, so I mean, it's one of those things that just tapping into it has just opened up so many other amazing doors to where we can sit and share this.
That is so cool. I love hearing those stories. I love how community opens up opportunity to share the hope of Jesus with people. And that's, the essence of our platform, is that through giving people a place to come together, rally towards a cause, that we can see that the physical help that we that we bring, the material help that we bring, also is connected to immaterial realities. And those immaterial realities, the hope in those situations is not money, it's the hope of Jesus. And that's why our platform exists, is because we recognize money won't solve all of our problems. It might help meet some of the material realities that we're faced with, but it's not going to, when your son or daughter just died in a car accident or your house just burnt down, okay, money might fix temporarily, pay for a funeral, or rebuild a home. It is not going to deal with the immaterial realities and the hurt and the pain and all of those things that we go through in life that are real, regardless of the material aspect of it. And that's only addressed through the hope of who Jesus is. And understanding that it's those types of moments where this door opens up, this community can come together and begin to have opportunity to reach into the situations of people and share with them the hope of Jesus. And I love seeing that happen. As you talk about powerlifting, I'm reminded when I was a youngster, probably an early teen or something, going to the power team. John Jacobs, I think it was John Jacobs power team. Are you familiar with that, or was that just something?
I am actually, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I would just remember them ripping telephone books in half, and doing all of these chopping blocks with their arms. It was an incredible.
They'd come out to a Promise Keepers event that I was a part of up here in the Pacific Northwest, and just a phenomenal group of folks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So are they still in business, or still out and around?
I haven't seen them for years, so I don't know, honestly. But I mean, this was probably a decade and a half ago. So
yeah. Okay.
How old I am.
Yeah. Right. Time moves quickly. Well, Scott, man, it's been great to get to know you a little bit. We love seeing what you're doing. I love seeing people fundraise, use Give, Send, Go to share hope with their own situation that God's put them in, but also even to the givers that have that heart, and to be able to share that. What we'd love to do in the future is probably have you back on again. We love to follow up with people as their journey continues. And as Give, Send, Go's audience continues, I think it's going to be a great thing for us to be able to get people on and then follow up with them later on down the road on you've kind of like in the middle aspect of your campaign. So you've seen some fruit from it, but you also know that there's probably more fruit coming in the future that you'll be able to testify to as well. So I'm going to let everyone know once again, the campaign URL, givesendgo.com/G26SS. This is Scott Hollis. You can read about his page. You even have your website listed on there. It's called mightylifters.com. People can go to that website, mightylifters.com, and they can find out a little bit more about what you're doing in your community, making a difference in the lives of young people who have been heavily impacted by COVID and everything that's been happening recently. And so I'm glad that there are people like you that are standing in the gap for those types of situations and making a difference in those young people's lives. I'm going to give you the last word before we sign off. Anything left that you'd have to say to the audience out there?
I think it's one of those that never give up hope. It's an element that I think we forget, that even in spite of COVID, job losses, trauma going on in people's lives, you're not alone. And by using platforms like this, it's going to give you an opportunity to see how not alone you are. The fact that there will be people who come alongside you, help fill in at least the financial gap, because the bills can be a burden, or there can be issues that you're trying to do or accomplish. And much like our team has been trying to do in terms of lifting up folks in every way possible, and not just lifting up weights, this is one of those pieces where we've been very blessed. We appreciate your platform. We thank you for everything that you guys have done for us. And we just look forward to following up and letting you know how all this turns out.
Awesome, Scott. Well, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to that future connection. Best of luck with everything that you continue to do. And we'll be in touch. Thank you very much.
Sounds great.